Hello everyone, my name is Rob Thomas and I'm Area Director for East Sussex. It's great to spend some time with you today. I've been asked by the regional team to share my experiences of my career within the bank and also how I've developed myself in order to move through a number of roles over some 35 years now of working for the company. So thank you for joining me. Okay, so first of all, an interesting fact. I suppose it has to come out. Some of you have worked with me already and know this. I am a dedicated marathon runner, which sometimes drives the family insane because it takes up a lot of time of my training, but it certainly gets me the real work-life balance and keeps my sanity as well as enjoying my job. So yes, I do spend a lot of time running the fields and lanes of East Sussex. So my career, 35 years. Why HSBC and why have I stayed so long? Well, I joined the bank in 1979 when it was actually Midland Bank, and I joined because it was a profession. It was seen as a company of lots of opportunity, a big company, and my first job was post in City Office, Liverpool. And the reason why I've stayed in the bank is the bank's changed. We're now HSBC, and I very much value the way we do our business, the way we go about things with our values and behaviours, and I've done many roles in different parts of the company over those 3 decades that I've been working for the bank. Mostly in the branch network. I've done every role, both clerical and managerial, in the branches. I've worked in head office for project teams for the network and for customer telephone services, and I've also run the contact centre in Hemel Hempstead. So for me, it's variety. It's the values of our organisation, and the fact that I've worked in many locations with some great teams that's kept my interest, and I'm still here talking about it today. So let me tell you a little bit about how I drive myself and drive my teams. As you know, we work in a high performance culture, and it's really important to our company that we all give of our best. So for myself, it's really important that I know what's expected of me in my job. And that just goes beyond the job description and the objectives. It's what I need to do across all the performance areas and how I'm performing in contrast to my peers, which in my example is my fellow area directors. So for me, it's really looking at every aspect of the role that I do, which is my East Sussex team and everybody who's part of my team, and are we giving the best? And if there's bits that we're doing really well, what can I share, what can I tell others about? And that could be within my team to get an even stronger performance, or it could be beyond my area. And likewise, and we all go through it, I have times regularly in my year where performance isn't right and performance could be better. And how I drive myself on that is to make sure it doesn't come as a surprise, and I'm onto it very, very quickly. So I value the feedback and the dialogue I've got with my line manager, and also with my peers, my other ADs, and my senior team that are part of my area board. And we sort of pledge to one another that we'll be honest and open and challenge where we feel performance can be better. And then it's a case of, can I do it myself? Do I need to reach out to others, which I quite often do? And how can we then take it forward to give even more? Then if I look at my team, what can I do to support my team? And this links into development as well, because depending on where different members of my team are, they're going to have varieties of strengths and development areas. So whatever the task is, if it's say to improve our customer experience in a certain branch or across the area, what can we gain from others? Are there new skills? Are there new routines that we need to bring in? Is the messaging right? Are we telling the story why we need to change? How we can change? And then are we giving the right tools or actions out that motivate people so they know what to do and they know how to do it as well? As an area director, with the pace of work we do in retail banking, that's constant, and you will have experienced that yourself. There's always something that could be better, and there's always plenty of things that we're already doing well that we should take praise for and be really pleased with our achievements. So let me tell you about my next steps and what I'm doing for my career development, because hopefully this will help you too in your own example. I've now been an area director for coming up to 5 years. I've worked previously on projects, and I enjoy work that involves leading and managing teams, and also particularly people development and managing change through projects. So the next step for me is likely to be a return to head office and working in the project teams within change delivery. So that's what I'm wanting to do. And the challenge is making that connection to ensure I know what those roles currently are, because I'm not presently doing them. So I've done some contacts through head office. I've been on a recent project management course. I've been up for a development day in head office with the change delivery team, and I've spent time with 3 managers who do very different roles within that department on how they handle projects now compared to when I used to handle projects some 5 or 6 years ago. So making contacts with people, having a development day and investing my time and understanding what those jobs are about to make sure that's what I want to do next. Challenges. I'm going to talk to you about one that's a constant challenge and one that's been quite timely for me this year. And again, these may well help you relate to the challenges you've got and how you deal with them. The biggest ongoing challenge I have, and I know it's shared with many others, is balancing the demands of my role, the area director role, and my home life. Because I want to make sure that I have, in essence, a happy life in work and at home. And the biggest challenge I have is on time management and planning to make sure I get all the things that I need to do in what is a very complex job in different places every day, work in different groups of my team, and making sure as well I've got time for me and I'm not neglecting my family as well. And what helps me on that one is to stay really planned, really organised, and make sure that I protect the time on both sides. And that is a constant challenge. I'm forever having to redress it, reprioritise, and think of what needs to be done and the sensitivities of it. So it's a constant state. If I think of a more specific one, I had the challenge this year, as well as being the area director for East Sussex, to go and do 2 jobs and be the area director for East Kent for a spell as well. That lasted for a period of 4 months, and after I got over the first daunting idea of doing a double workload, a double job, I realised I had to make it work so it wasn't a double job, and it could be something that I could do with the support of the 2 teams across East Sussex and East Kent. And I'm pleased to say that was a success for me and for everyone, but it was a relief when we saw the return of the area director in East Kent in May. And again, that was down to planning and down to organising, being really open with my team, asking them how they could help me and also how I could help them, realising there were limits to what we could do with our resources. They were a great challenge and we achieved a lot together. So, I've been asked a lot about networking and how you can really make that work for you. And I have to say the best tips I've had have been from my mentor. So I suppose that's point number 1. Do you have a mentor as well as a line manager? Because it's great to get the advice. My mentor gave me a real practical tool to use on building up a network, and it's really helped. And it's quite simply mapping. So if you can remember that, and it's something that you need to draw out. And the tip is to think of the people that you currently know that help you in your career. And that could be a line manager, it could be an existing mentor, it could be some senior colleagues in the area, it could be a specialist manager in a different role to what you're doing now. And what I was asked to do by Frank Mowat, my mentor, was to map it. So draw circles for each of those people, and depending on how much influence they can have for you, it's a bigger circle. And also he said, how often do I spend time with them in conversation and in meetings? And that would be the proximity on the map. So if you think about that for you, about the people that can influence you, the bigger the influence that they can potentially give you, how often that you have dialogue with them, you can easily draw a number of different size circles at different distances with you in the middle, and that's your map. And what I would challenge you further on is draw the map as to how it stands now, and then think about how you want that map to change depending on where you see your next potential career moves. And I promise you it works. If you do that and then you spend some time talking it over with your line manager, it will lead to some real practical actions and next steps about what you're going to do with those people on the map. So, in addition to networking, preparing for an interview, again, a very practical thing to face and to make sure that you're fully prepared so you can give your best in that interview. And I would say it starts well before the interview session. So make sure once you've had that signal that you're going to be selected for interview, that you make contact with the recruiting manager. Be nosy, be inquisitive, ask questions about the role, the team, what the priorities are for this year and how they see the role fitting into all of that. It could indeed be a new role or just a replacement for someone who's moved on from an existing role. But show your hunger, show your interest, make the inquiry. Believe you me, it's welcomed. Managers that get phone calls from interview candidates are always far more impressed than if the candidate doesn't make the approach. So do that before your interview, and that will also help you with what you want to cover when you get there. In addition to that, you need to go in feeling confident that you've got some great interview stories to share, and that's the way I would approach it. So bear in mind what is required from a role, and that's why the phone call with the manager could help. There's going to be some key capabilities that they'll be looking for on what is important with that role. So know what they are, and they're probably going to be at least half a dozen, say 6 to 8, key capabilities that they will want you to work on and demonstrate that you've got the skills. So that's where the reflection comes in. Think of what you have done, and it's what you've done, your interventions and your actions in each of those capabilities that you can tell great stories, because the interviewers face a hard day. They may well have 4, 5 interviews within a day, and you want to be able to shine. So a simple technique that I use is called STAR, and that is when you're looking at these different stories, think in each case, what was the situation, what was the task that you were going to look to do, what were your specific actions, and it's important to get you in rather than the team. The interviewer wants to know about you, and then what was the result, what were you able to achieve. And if you can get that real story that's full of practical intervention and what you've done in your influence, that will certainly help you towards a great interview performance. So folks, you've heard a bit from me today, and I hope it's inspiring for you and you're ready to take your next steps. And that's what really happens next. So let's just look at the context on this to help you. From Francesca McDonough, the head of our network, she's challenging us as managers to grow our talent faster. So you've got the commitment from your line manager. If you go and have a conversation at whatever level you are, your line manager will have their eyes and ears open to listen to you and help you forward to those next steps. But importantly, this rests with you. There are plenty of opportunities there. I've seen many people progress quite rapidly in their careers, particularly over the last few years. So the opportunity's there, you've definitely got the support framework there. It's down to you and down to your hunger on what you want to do next. So I would ask you to reflect on some of the messages that I've given you today that could be helpful for you, and talk it through in your next one-to-one. Make a commitment for yourself that that's what you want on your agenda in your next one-to-one, and talk through how you're going to go about it. And I hope with some of the practical solutions I've given today on networking and on interview technique, that can help you on your way. Very best of luck.